the lightning demos, we are on a mission to collect 221 lightning demos for 2021. And just to give you again the link here in the mural. The lightning demos we want. So the mural, you get the link to the mural again here. And yes, I would like to just hand it over to Margriet and Robert to introduce themselves. Let's say a fact about them, which I really admire, is that they travel. Oh, I have two facts. I have to tell you two facts. So one is they travel and make design sprints while traveling. I think that's amazing. I just, that inspires me. So maybe I will do something similar in some years. And they don't sell the design sprint, but they date their clients. I think that's also quite interesting. Fun fact. Okay, so just start. Margriet, introduce yourself and then you hand it over to Robert. Ladies first.
Thank you, Sabrina. I think that's a very wise choice. So thanks for having us on the meetup. Of course, lovely to travel to Stuttgart, and also to be here and see everybody online. So yeah, really short. I am Margriet, based in Amsterdam, indeed, and I have the company Orange Minds together with Robert, who will say hello in a moment, who is not only my business partner, but we're also a couple. And that's why the traveling and design sprints are, easy to combine, let's say. And I do have to add that before, I think it was about 4 years ago that we were working way too hard. We were already kind of we were doing workshops, but not design sprints necessarily as actively as we do now. But 4 years ago, we just thought we worked way too hard. And then we decided to travel 4 months a year and work the rest. And that, since then, that's kind of been our, let's say, our mission. And now, of course, we do that traveling mostly digitally. But it's still quite fun. And I think why we love the design sprint, and we still, because we've done about 114, I think, if we count it now, is that still every week that we do a sprint, it's a different dynamic. So it's a different team, but it's also just a different world that you jump into. So I think that's what I love. We've seen Botox companies to insurance companies to banks to energy companies, I think, and everything in between. So I think also that combination of all the lightning demos that we've collected along the way, has been an inspiration. But I think that's enough, because we'll talk more about lightning demos in a moment. And then whatever I've forgotten, it's over to you, Robert.
You haven't forgotten anything, Margriet. I think it's time to move to the lightning demos. Margriet introduced us, and we're traveling a lot. We're seeing each other a lot, and literally we're in the same room now. Yeah, it's the end of the year, so let's celebrate with some inspiration and with some highlights that we've seen over the past, as well as you've seen over the past year. I think that is a good plan. So Sabrina, shall we get into lightning demo mode?
Yeah, I think you can already starting to tell a bit more about what are lightning demos. So we don't make an introduction about what is the design sprint. We just, if you want to know more, reach out to us, but we would like to skip this part and we go directly to the lightning demos. But maybe to give some context, that after lining the team on the challenge, going deep into what are the problems and listening to everyone, making the map, having a focus, and let's say, then if you are aligned, then you start with, let's say, the phase that you start creating a solution. And there the lightning demos come into place. So maybe you can just introduce the lightning demos, tell a little bit how you are doing the lightning demos.
Yes, very good question. And so lightning demos are for us are really the moment that the team leaves the problem that we are constantly talking about, or the opportunity that we talked about on the first day, we leave that behind a little bit, and we start moving into solution mode, into the ideation, let's say. But how we always explain it to teams is that it's always great to come up with new ideas, but it's also super good to check out what others are doing. And this is really how we explain it. Like, can we find inspiration from other companies? And I always say it can be any company or any person or any organization that can be of inspiration, as long as you tell us why you find it inspirational and what you as a person take away from it. So lightning demos are really are basically just examples of others that are facing a similar, or maybe even a similar challenge, let's say like that, and how they solved it. So maybe we ran sprints with insurance companies, and actually the inspiration came from McDonald's, or they came from a local person that's selling fruits and veggies. So inspiration can come from anywhere, and we always are super harsh in telling teams we are not looking for solutions yet. We're looking for inspiration. So that means that we're not looking for explanations like, hey, this is what McDonald's are doing, so I think we should do the same. No, it's like, hey, this is what McDonald's is doing, and I find it highly inspirational because of. And we don't need the link immediately to the challenge. It's really finding inspiration. Sharing that with others helps to create creative minds as well. So you see that when a group is sharing the lightning demos on the Tuesday morning within the sprint, the new creative solutions pop up into other people's mind. And that's also one of the things why we really love the lightning demo morning. It really sparks creativity within the team, coming to new things in their minds. And that's exactly what we need, a little bit new insights rather than the old ones. Did I miss anything, Margriet, in my explanation?
No, not really. I think it's time to just get, let's say, to share a few, but I did want to just add that I think it's, and I mean, it's a little bit of an assumption, but I think people here, if you're either a design sprinter or you're interested in innovation, or you're a designer, or, any other form, I think, what we, or what you probably do, is look at the world already kind of like with open eyes and think, hey, there's inspiration, I can use this. But what we notice is that in a lot of companies or teams that we work with, it's not necessarily a natural thing for people to look outside a lot and to look at inspiration. So I think that's why we really enjoy also spending really, 2 hours in the sprint of just looking at this inspiration, because teams or people aren't often used to it. They're often, delivering on whatever, I don't know, busy agendas that they have, often talking about problems or things that aren't possible. So that's really why we, and I think that's where the idea of the museum came from. We create this, of course, it's part of the sprint. So it's always, with a team that you go through the exercise, but that we've collected so many over the years that we would sometimes bring some extra ones, but we've never done this, like Sabrina said, digitally. And then we thought, hey, what better way? I think also because I think the whole community is international. So we all have different countries we come from, different companies we see. So inspiration can be it can indeed come from everywhere. So that's what we would like to share with you. And the way that we were thinking of doing it, so Robert and Sabrina, I think we should give us a timer as well. So I think at least in the sprint, what we do is I often give people like 3 or 4 minutes max. So I would even say, let's give each other 3 minutes. So it's nice and quick to share 2 or 3 examples.
I would have a question. I think that we can get a bit more into the lightning demos exercise. I would like to know from your side, because I experienced different ways to run the exercise. And in the beginning, very often I had, let's say, my timing, but I had the feeling I'm rushing too much through that, because also not only presenting the lightning demos, but also the questions were really inspirational, because if you look at to an example from another perspective, you see different, let's say, details and aspects than the person who presented it. So then you again have some inspirations. So I would like to know, you said you use around 2 hours for that exercise. With collecting and presenting, or only presenting, or do you do that as a homework? Maybe you can tell us a bit more.
Yeah, sure. So I will share a little bit. It does depend, I suppose, a little bit. So it's not exactly the same way every time. Depends how energy is on the Monday, let's say. Then I give homework already, because on the Monday in the design sprint, we end with the challenges, the chosen, how might we's, and that's usually the basis of, at least, hey, let's look for inspiration on those. So if the energy is high enough, I leave him with it to sleep on, to talk to at home, if inspiration already comes. And then we start sharing right away on Tuesday. And otherwise, I give them 20 minutes on Tuesday to kind of gather them then. And the way we often do it is actually not have too much discussion. So what we prefer to do is do quite a fast, that's also why they're called, the way I see it or explain it, lightning demos. So it is, so it's like lightning, so it's very fast. But to share 2 or 3 examples, and all within a time frame of maximum 5 minutes. So I always look a little bit at how big is the group, or, how much can we do? And then what I actually prefer is I usually then do a reflection on what we heard, what were the big ideas that came through, or the red thread. And then we do a second round if we have missed anything. So the discussion usually comes after everything, because I find that, but that's my personal opinion, that sometimes it becomes too much. It's a very thin line, I think, what Robert said as well, inspiration towards solutions. So before you know it, you're already brainstorming, and we just want as much as possible to be on the wall if you're in a room, or on the digital wall if we're online. So that's the way we would usually, let's say, approach it. But it's definitely an energetic exercise.
Yeah, I also love it. Thanks. So if someone from the audience from here, if you have a question, please let us know. You can just ask. And so when we are talking now about the lightning demos, if you don't have any questions, we just continue, and we would like to ask you a question, and we already prepared that. So I will share again the board with you, because I think we have some new people. So find the link to the board here in the chat, in the Zoom chat, and please enter here on the board. And we would like to just know how experienced you are with design sprints. It's just interesting for us to have an overview, if you already did some, or how many people, let's say, how the audience is spread. So what we will do a voting session. So I will start a voting session on Mural, and you don't have to do anything, just click on the post-it, on one of the blue post-it. I just summoned you there, and I will share my screen now as well, so that whoever is not on the board or cannot access the board can see what we are doing. So we are, oh yeah, let's just, okay, let's leave it. Whoever switched it, just put it, I will put it there again. So, okay, so let's start doing a voting session, and just put one vote on the right post-it. I will just give you one vote, and very quickly just put the, you just click on the post-it, and then it will automatically put a vote on the post-it, and you have only one. Oh, and we have 24 people here on the board. So I think nearly everyone of the audience is on the board. Okay. So there are some, now since I'm sharing the screen, you also see what I, as a facilitator, what I see, that all the people are voting. So some people didn't vote yet. So let's see the end result. I end the voting session. Okay, so we have, look at the result. Oh, sorry, I stopped sharing my screen, sorry. So you can see, so we have quite a lot of, let's say at least design sprinters. So only 4 people, they are ready to learn. So if you just want to learn something, just reach out to us. But I think everyone here knows about Design Sprint, and that's wonderful. So I think we are ready to start, to get the ball rolling. So Margriet, do you want to continue with, just guiding us through the lightning demos? Lightning demo exercise. Maybe we just share 1 or 2 so that everyone gets inspired, knows what we want to do, and then we start searching.
Yeah, no, let's indeed do that. And maybe, hang on. I'm not a member of the board, but I can ask people to follow me. So I can, should be, or you can, or follow, or Sabrina can summon everybody to me.
I can also share my screen again, and you just let me know where I should go so everyone can see it.
But I think it's better on Mural, no? People can.
Okay. Okay.
I think it's but if you follow me, Sabrina, and then you summon everyone, that's probably the best way to do it.
Okay. What are you?
So I am. Oh, do you see me at the? I'm the M at the beginning, or I will ask you.
Yeah, ask me.
I'm at the top. Hang on. Ask to follow.
Okay, I'm there.
Perfect. So before I start, just really quickly for those who are fully new to lightning demos, or if you're not new to them and maybe you do them slightly different, I think the key thing, what we always say, besides what has already been said, it's, so what is the company, or why does it inspire you? So kind of like, what's the big idea? But then also, what do they do specifically? So you can have, for example, Amazon that inspires you, but they can inspire, in one team, it could be that there's actually 25 lightning demos based on Amazon, and every time you get a different element. I'll just share, I think, 2 or 3 to get us started, and maybe Robert and Sabrina, if you have something to share, and then we'll pass it to you. I don't know. I just picked this first one. It's not necessarily new of this year, but I love these comic contracts. And actually, as I looked them up yesterday, I think they've rebranded to creative contracts. And why this is for me, it's a lot. I've done a lot of projects this year on making complex things simple and inclusion. So Comic Contracts is a company that makes contracts for people that are either illiterate or they were based actually on, let's say, fruit pickers that didn't speak the English language. So how can we, create a contract for people that they actually understand what they're signing? So instead of, like a big stack of paper, make it in comics. So that's what this company does. And I always find it an inspiration to make things simple. I think it's so easy for us to make things way too complex. So that is one, and something I'm going to go all the way down, something super simple, local that I saw last week, just in case. Hang on, I'm going to ask you to follow me again in case, Sabrina, I'm now all the way at the bottom, customer service in the rain. And this is something I saw. It was in a way very little. How do I say, a detail, but it was at a local bakery, and they had umbrellas, and it's in Dutch, but it says, do you need to wait in the rain? Use an umbrella. That's what it said. And why I really liked it, it's because of now, obviously, COVID, that, only 3 people are allowed in the store. So that, if you're waiting outside, that you could pick up an umbrella. And I just thought about just this small customer service. So you go in for bread, but that it's often the small things that you'll remember. So I just took this picture kind of as a memory. And as you see, often, or what I at least often do, because we're online a lot, most of the sprints we do are digital, but I actually often find my inspiration offline, or at least I try to bring that in. And these are super simple examples that I just shared with you, but maybe I'll pass it over to Robert, who might have some very different types of examples to share as well.
Thanks, Margriet. We have to be super careful about unmuting because we're in one room, and otherwise it will get very messy. So therefore, a little delay sometimes in between. Let me find out. Sabrina, if you can also follow me. You have a.
Yes, I follow you now, and
Perfect.
everyone there.
Perfect. Cool. So I have some a little bit other examples. Maybe we see so many different challenges. So I looked also up some challenges that we saw recently, and one that always comes back and is super famous in Holland, and nowadays is getting more famous across the world as well, is the chocolate that it's called the slave-free chocolate from Tony Chocoloni, and it's for a lot of people super inspirational. But what I find great about it is that the way the chocolate is produced, it shows how not okay the distribution of money across the chocolate supply chain is. So it shows that small pieces, big pieces, and it truly shows in the product itself that something is not okay. So the message that the company has is shown in their products in a super clever way, actually, and it's great for storytelling as well for this company. And another one that came by from someone else, but I found it super inspirational for in a way, is a very stupid one, and it's this one, and it's about wearing masks. And for the people that follow me, so what it does and why it's inspirational to even to corporate companies having such a silly thing is that communication is super difficult, and many times communication is part of our challenges within design sprints, and making things visual is very difficult for companies. They tend to write very long long reports about everything, and this really shows in one picture, hey, what if we become more visual, eh? So it's a lot clearer why you should wear a mask across your nose and not underneath. So it's even for corporate organizations. This is one that's super inspirational, and one that I also really like. It comes by a lot, but it really shows we have quite a lot of and I can actually follow you. That's even, yeah. If you go
Robert,
down
you have to reveal your source. People want to know where you found it.
I have no clue. Someone else found it in one of the design sprints. I find it highly inspirational. So I just just took it and grabbed it. To be honest,
you can just copy it from the board.
You can copy it from the board. That's not an issue. Take a screenshot and do whatever. And one more, Sabrina, if you go down a little bit and I ask you to follow me.
I follow you. Yeah.
Perfect. Is the superheroes in a children's hospital. So what we have a lot is, hey, how can our employees be more than just an employee of a company? How can we participate more in society? And this is one of the key examples from how to do that as a company. These are cleaners of windows, and at the children's hospital they put on these amazing suits because they can delight the children that are actually in the hospital. So something that is super normal of doing for cleaning the windows, they make it a true experience out of it, and it can be so easy because these suits just cost a few $100, and it gives so much impact to the children as well as to the visibility of the company. So these are some highly inspirational examples that I
wonderful.
this year.
Wonderful. Where is this company located?
Ooh, I think it's the US or the UK, to be honest.
Mhm.
UK, right? Yeah, I think it's UK, to be honest.
Mhm.
And even I
Love
have
it.
no clue, as you can see. It's just so inspirational already that we don't need to discuss who's the company, etc.
Yeah,
It's just this is one of their things they are doing. So yeah,
great.
cool. Do you have some, Sabrina, to share maybe, or
Yeah, I can
some that?
share maybe two of mine. So I also would like to inform you that when you put later on, you put your examples, your lightning demos there, you can also share your name with us, because we will continue collecting. We told you 221 lightning demos we want to collect. So I think there is still, we need some time for that, but we also reached out to the designs, to the whole design spin community. And probably we also get Jake, an example from Jake Knapp and John Zaretsky to this board. And there will be also more. So I think it will be also very interesting to see who is putting what on the board. So this is why you can put your name on it. So what I would like to present, and I summon you here. So I have some more German related stuff. So what means German? It's, let's say the sources are German. So I have something here which is Trojan mailing. And this is a campaign from DHL. And they made their competitors promote them. So they just printed a big package. DHL is faster. And then they send it in their, let's say in the target market with their competitors. So TNT and UPS, FedEx. And so these competitors were running around or these huge packages around the city, and everyone could just see that someone from UPS is just making advertisement for DHL. So I thought this is really inspirational. There's also a video, so you can, if you double click, you see the video.
Love
and
this.
There's something else. Donate with a purpose. So I spend a lot of time on, let's say, the refugee donation, doing good nonprofit projects. And what I always saw that it's very compelling for everyone, for companies or people, they are donating, that they have a certain purpose, not only purpose, they want to donate something, but they would like to make that a bit tangible. And this is really nice here. This is a page from Plan International, which is an international organization, but they are, I think their head, their center is in Hamburg. So they have a page, and there actually you can search, they have projects like a goat for youngsters, or a chicken for a family, or whatever. So there are a lot of different projects, but it's very, very tangible. You have a prize, and this is, let's say, this is a goat for a year, or let's say the goat, and then they can live from everything that the goat produces, like the cheese, the milk. They can use that, and that helps. That helps these youngsters. So it's really interesting, and it's also interesting. So because we are very doing stuff for the corporate environment, also B2B. So if you think of businesses or companies, they can also choose something that attaches to, let's say, that have a bigger meaning for them. So therefore, it's very interesting to have this kind of offers. So it makes a donation easier. Okay, I think, there are more, but I think these are the...
Sabrina, the one below, it says guided cooking, or two below, actually, it says guided cooking. I think it also comes from you.
Yes, right.
Yes, I had one of the best ice creams in a long time that was made by your husband with this machine. So I just want to mention it. Thanks for
Okay.
that. A great reminder. So you see that what happens if lightning demos come by. You go back to certain moments that you remember, or you come into new insights. So thanks for that, Sabrina.
Yeah, and okay, then I just will guide you there as well, because what is interesting here is that it's not just making good ice cream. You can also make your kids cooking if they are not. So I have one of my kids. He really likes to cook with it because it's very structured. You just have to click next step and you do what the machine is telling you, and then next step and you do something else. I don't use it like that, but anyway, it's various possibilities there. And what reminds me also of something what I tell my team always in a lightning demos. You were talking about something that you experienced, and this is because when we are now working in the remote environment, you have the board, the whiteboard. You can easily just copy paste the URL to the board. So it's very easy, let's say, to collect these lightning demos. But what I like as well is when people come up with experiences like what you did with the rain, with the umbrella, but also to give them the possibility to think of what did I experience in, let's say, for this focus, for this kind of solution, what did I experience? And then they can just come up with just one post-it where they explain just what they experienced and what is compelling, what is the interesting detail from this idea. And that also sometimes help if you have a bit difficult products. Okay. So, Margriet?
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. No, I was having a look, because I think when we asked before how many people prepared, which wasn't, I mean, it's not like a must-have, although we would like to put your brains to work if we will. But I did see that, let me see, Michiel de Vos, you prepared too. So would you like to share one of them on what you chose and why, what you brought? So I can ask people to follow me. But then, of course, that's the question, yes. Michiel. Yes, you're with us.
I'm in the top right. And I've got two actually, but I'll choose one. I think I choose the one on top, which says helping, not taking over. Because this is a lightning demo that once really broke open a creative process and it gave direction to the team on working. This is a program for mantelouders, which means parents who take informal care of their children who are disabled. So they really have a tough task 24/7 to take care of the children who may be really severely autistic or other forms. And we were trying to trying to solve it, and we used a metaphor from nature within the lightning demos. And in nature, we had this example that when a caterpillar turns into a butterfly, it pops it pops itself in itself. And if you try to get to speed up the process by taking the butterfly out of its cocoon, in the end he will get out faster, but he will die pretty soon. So the metaphor was ease and don't take over the process, but help and wait and be patient and be there on time for helping these people. And yeah, I brought this one because it's something we can learn from the outside world.
That's a wonderful example. Yeah,
I was just going. Oh, sorry, yeah. Sabrina.
No, Margriet, I'm ready. I'm ready.
No, so thanks indeed for sharing. And this is exactly what I love about literally this morning. And I'll also say to people, and I say morning because often in the design sprint, let's say it's the Tuesday morning, it's like sit back and just enjoy the show. But also this story that you just shared, Michiel, like I love the different perspectives. And you also see, the design sprint, it's a multidisciplinary team. So some people, with technical backgrounds will come with very technical solutions, maybe, which are cool, which I'd never seen before. And other people come much more with stories or things they've experienced. So I love this whole, I don't know, show, let's say. So thanks also for this one. I hadn't had this one as the metaphor. So again, I'm also inspired. So thanks, Michiel.
Great to hear. Thanks for the floor.
Hey, is there anybody else? That's maybe the question, right, Sabrina? Just to check, did anybody else prepare anything that they would like to share?
Yeah, could you maybe just speak out loud? Maria.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, Maria.
Hello. Hi there. Yes, I thought we had to prepare, so I was trying to do that earlier before the meetup.
I love it.
Okay. So mine are, where are they? Here.
You can just ask to be followed.
Yes, here we go. Okay, so this one is the blockchain recycling, V-Loop. It's pretty standard idea of rewarding people with tokens, but I like how they've applied it to actually trying to find plastic bottles in the street and taking a photo and recycling it. Because here in I'm in Dubai, and in the Middle East, recycling isn't like Europe. It's not like back home, and it's just kind of second nature. Sometimes you really have to force people. So I just quite like this this kind of new idea of gamifying recycling, which you do have to do it and treat people a bit like kids sometimes when sometimes the infrastructure isn't there. So that's that incentivizing idea. Shall I do the other two very quickly, or is that enough? Okay, so the second one underneath is make soil. So this is all about composting, and it's crowdsourcing composting. So if you want to compost your kitchen scraps, or you have a load of leaves or a load of coffee grounds or hair or whatever, you can find someone in your neighborhood who might have a compost site, and you can contribute. So the idea here is more like finding people in your area to make something happen. So in this example, it's applying to composting, but it could really apply to anything. It's about just using the simple map and community aspect to make something happen that might be difficult to tackle just one organization, but actually the power of the people is quite powerful. And this works quite well here in Dubai. And the last example underneath is a bit more of a technical one. Yes, I always very impressed with the Dutch. You've probably seen this one. It's not very new, but it's the it's the Great Bubble Barrier. It's one of the solutions to plastic waste in like canals or smaller rivers, smaller waterways. And I love the idea that, I mean, it's very technical, but it's actually quite simple. It's about using a stream of bubbles to actually push plastic up. So it doesn't affect fish. It's not like a bigger machine, but it's using like physics and some kind of technology. I'm not really sure how it works, but I just like that completely different way of thinking. It's a female-founded company, and it is being rolled out a bit slower than it should, but I really love that example of just thinking a bit differently about how to solve a problem.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Maria. And I think the last example was, I think it was chosen as the simplest solution to the biggest problem in the world or something. It's just like, it's so simple that people thought it wouldn't work, but it actually works. So, so very cool example indeed, Maria. Thanks for reminding. And what's super funny is that we run quite a bit of design sprints in Lebanon, and these are exactly the difficulties to tackle composting and recycling, and this is the thing in the Middle East. So therefore, it's always cool also to look outside of your own country, having people that look in other areas as well. So therefore, even better to have this board. I mean, it comes from everywhere, so inspiration comes from everywhere. So thanks, Maria, super cool.
Yeah, thank you. So we have two others. So I see one from Wouter. Do you want to share?
Ooh, Wouter.
Wouter, sorry.
Wouter, where are you?
Wouter. Wouter maybe has also a green face, like Lisa. So we have, this is Shruti. So Shruti, do you want to contribute and present yours? If not, doesn't matter. We just continue and start inspiring you to, oh, Maria. Maria, do you want to share yours?
Hi, yeah, the other Maria. There's a couple. So I will ask to be followed. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. So my example is called Etepetete. And it's a company in Germany, but I think this concept also is available in other countries. It's basically, it resells unsellable fruit and vegetables. And the idea is that, well, some veggies, they don't, you know, they don't look like the specifications, or for some reason they will not get it to the market and would get wasted. And there's this service gets all these fruit and vegetables, and you can actually buy a box. And so I have it, for example, and the nice thing is that you don't know what you're gonna get. You get every Friday a box of fruits and vegetables, and yeah, they don't look nice, but they're all bio, so they're ecological, and yeah, it's a good service. And this idea can help us understand, for example, that this is not the intended use of a product, but there is some life that you can get after a product, or yeah, like as a byproduct. I like to have this analogy.
Sorry, I was muting. Super cool, Maria. And it immediately sparks my mind into a startup we have here in Holland that is catching up. Like the companies can cheaply give away the food they have left over at the end of,
Yeah.
like, for example, in a bakery, etc. So what it does to me, you explain something and it immediately reminded me of something
Think
else.
of that,
So,
yeah.
yeah, cool,
Yeah,
thanks.
you probably think of Too Good To Go. So there is a big company. It's actually working in several countries, and it really is a very a good analogy of the service.
Cool.
Thanks so much, Maria. Okay.
Hi,
What do you
Sabrina.
think? Hi.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I mean, I'm Shruti.
Yeah,
You called me out
wonderful.
earlier.
Yeah, please share
You have a
your
minute?
learning with us.
Sure. So I think I put this local news delivery for rural India.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the idea behind this was during COVID times, the rural population of India was not really receiving a lot of news about what was happening. They didn't quite understand social distancing. They didn't quite understand any norms that was, being put by WHO. So we quickly whipped up an idea around that, and we made an app called Hamlet, which quickly translates to a small village, and we started basically spreading the news in the local language. India, as you know, we have around 36 languages people speak in India. So each state has its own language. So the idea behind this was to convey messages via local languages. So everything was very simple. So the English language is extremely simple and it's quickly converted into regional languages and was spread around. What was exciting about it was I was learning different walks of life. I mean, me being in India, I should know more about the rural population, but clearly I did not until I started researching. So yeah, so that's my story.
Thanks so much, Shruti. Thank you.
Thanks indeed.
Thank you, Margaret. Hi, how are you doing?
I am good. Good. Thanks for joining us. And I indeed love your story. Also, how it's your even your own let's say story as well. So that's even well, not better, but wonderful. And hey, Sabrina, I'm even thinking, because I see more people have added things, which is super. But I was also thinking, because we realize it's Thursday evening, and I mean, we could talk about this for 2 hours or more, but that it can often help, because in a way, when we asked you to prepare, if you did, we just kept it open, you know, what companies inspire you, although it can often help as well, or in the design sprint, you'll probably have a challenge that you're looking at. So you're looking at solving something in particular. So what we wanted to do as a final, let's say, exercise, if you will bear with us for a bit, also to get our mission of 2021 demos. Hang on, I will just take you to the top here.
Yeah, I did that already. So we are all at the orange.
We're already at the orange, perfect.
Post-its.
Perfect. And there's 2 filled in. I mean, because I just took, or Robert and I, we were looking at, I mean, some very general, but I think topics that are, how do I say, common at the moment. One is, how might we make complex things simple? That's, I think, at least something I see, we tend to make things way too difficult. And I think, Shruti, your example was one where you guys made things simple. So that's perfect, you know, translating to a local language. But how might we make digital personal and local? Something I see now as well, especially in that this is about connecting. Obviously now also in COVID times, this is an important thing. But I'm wanting or curious to hear from you as well, as in you as a group. What are 2 or 3 other how might we's that are kind of current at the moment? Let's say if we can summarize 2020 in some how might we's. And let's just collect 5 here, and then we'll vote. And then with the whatever voted how might we's, that will be our search, how do I say, search criteria for coming up with some inspiration. So now, and you can either add it to the chat.
Yeah, I would add it to the chat.
I think
please.
That's easiest.
Yes.
And then
just write to the chat whatever you think could be a good how might we question for as an inspiration to search for lightning demos.
And then we'll just, it'll kind of be a little bit of a first come, let's see what comes in. And then we'll do a vote once we have 5. It's still very quiet in the chat.
Just to clarify, chat on the Zoom call, right?
Yes, chat on the Zoom call. Yes.
If you put on a post-it, it also doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just to make things easier. So we already have, how might we connect with friends and family despite the physical distance?
It probably was easier. I don't know why I mentioned do it in the chat. That's why we have a whiteboard.
Yeah, I thought it's easier. It's faster and
sometimes we
I was wondering the same. I had no clue why you asked it. Yeah.
You know, sometimes I just thought because I thought, you know, we're with like 25 people, then we'll have 100 how might we say before we know it. I just wanted to keep it with a small group.
Yeah.
But all right. So if it's, I think we've transferred most of the ones in the chat. And if not, just add it. And actually it's finish whatever you're writing and then just click outside, because I can imagine we can think of many more how might we's for 2020. But I think, Sabrina, shall we give people 3 votes? So choose the 3 how might we's that are for you the most I don't know, let's say real at the moment of what we think this, we say this inspiration wall needs more examples of bringing into 2021. What is it that we should be solving? And we have, I think, about 15 how might we's here.
Okay, let's just
and
stop.
Growing.
Yeah.
So click
That's
outside
awesome.
your perfect. So hang on, I will group them if you can give people the vote.
Yeah, so I will give you, okay. Now I start the voting session. Everyone has 3 votes and please start voting. So, you just click on the post-it, on the yellow post-its here. I again summon you here. So, oops, no, I cannot summon you. You cannot summon people when you have a voting session. Did you know that?
No, yes, I did. It's so annoying. So if anybody has lost us, we are, if you zoom out, we are kind of on the top left where the yellow, orange post-its are. And there's a few doubles in there, but just click the one.
Yeah. If they're exact doubles, we just count them together. Okay. And I give you, now I make a bit of pressure. You have 1 minute left. And it's not a crucial, it's just, we will just have one challenge. So it doesn't matter which one, it's just an inspiration for us. Yeah, but I think you are really a real engaged audience. So thanks for that.
Uh, 20 seconds, final votes. And in case you want to vote, well, I think most people have voted actually, I'm seeing. Perfect. So Sabrina, show us the results.
Yes, I end the voting session. Oh, how might we make digital connections more personal, local? Okay.
Yay.
Thanks for your vote.
And I think in the second one, that was with 11 votes and 8, which is quite connected. How might we connect friends and family despite the physical distance? So I think those we can even see in a bit similar way. Because shall we just go with the top 3 top voted ones? And then the other one was how might we make complex things simple? So you see the ones that are, I made them green. So that is actually the question to all of you, if you will bear with us. Take 10 minutes. 10 minutes, Sabrina?
7.
7, perfect, even better. So Sabrina will start the timer for 7 minutes. And in those 7 minutes, please, have yourself a little break, a glass of water while you think. But within these 3 categories, think of 1 or 2 companies or examples that you have. And please fill them in on the board to the right.
Can also be a service, can be a product, whatever.
Perfect.
And try not to destroy our order. Just put the URL, and if you don't know, you can copy the URL of a website and you just paste it directly on the board. Then it will include the link and probably show a preview.
And so, sorry, where do you want us to copy those?
I summon you now here.
All the empty templates.
Oh, right. Okay. Thanks.
So you have a lot of space, just wherever, doesn't matter. And sorry, I don't play music. If you don't mind, we will continue talking. So if you get distracted, and I'm getting distracted if I have to concentrate, so please then just close your loudspeaker. But I don't want to play music because then it will crash YouTube. So we will have a problem on YouTube. Yeah, and then maybe they just don't show the meetup, and that would be a pity.
All right,
So,
but has the timer already started, Sabrina? 7 minutes? Have they started, or are they starting now? Yeah,
no, I'm sorry. You have 5 minutes left. Yes, it started in my head. It started already.
Very good. All right, and I am going to stop talking because I can't do two things at once. I want to see if I can add something.
Okay.
Or maybe no, I can talk to you, Sabrina.
Yeah, because I thought we could maybe answer some of the questions, because I already saw that there is a question. What was your first design sprint like? Do you remember your first design sprint?
I do. And it was actually, I don't know if I told you this story. So my first design sprint, it was actually a client asked me to do a design sprint. And it was actually at a time where I was, I don't know, I was very tired. I was working way too much. And I was like, oh no, not another new thing. So I'd never done a design sprint before. I did similar, let's say, processes, or I did a lot of facilitating. But then it's a Dutch company, but it was for one of their subsidiaries in Istanbul, so in Turkey. And then I was like, oh, now it's more interesting, because they wanted me to come to Istanbul to do a design sprint. And then I thought, I love to travel. So I said yes. But to be honest, I knew about the book. The book had literally just come out that month. I did have the book, but I hadn't read it. But literally, I read the book on the plane. Mm-hmm. On my way to Istanbul, and that was my first design sprint. So I would read the chapter, and then every morning I was going through it. I was like, okay, so what do I do today? And that was actually literally my first design sprint. So sorry, don't tell my client, but no, it went well. But I think, and how was it like? I think for me, what I do remember, I think, and I mean, I pulled it off in the sense that I think that's the beauty of the design sprint as well. It's a process that's so structured. And I think with the experience that I had with facilitating, it was actually so nice also to, I don't know, have this almost like guidebook, literally. Mm-hmm. So it was, and then for me, it was kind of love at first sight. This was about 4 years ago, I think. And then many, many sprints later now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds nice. My first real design sprint, so I did one with our team. It was for a client project, but we didn't have the client in the team. It was more like a test situation. That went fine. That was where I thought, oh, wow, what an amazing process. How powerful. But let's say the first client project was a bit complicated, because the decider had not enough time. And we did some remote elements in between. So we just put him on, not on Ural, but just we showed him, I think I used Google Slides for that. So it was a bit messy, but and it worked only because the decider was very smart. So he understood very fast. So I didn't have to explain a lot. And it worked out quite well, but it was just really so many learnings, and also learnings with the user interviews, that because they gave me, it was a B2B project, they gave me the addresses. And I thought, yeah, that's wonderful, how easy. They just give me the addresses. Wow. But then when I tried to reach out to the people, it was terrible, because they didn't have time. And then I had interviews, I think in between 2 weeks. It took me 2 weeks to get all the interviews, and that was just horrible. But yeah, it was a lot of learnings in the first real design sprint. So
yeah, that's it sounds a little bit familiar, but now you managed it within a week now, Sabrina?
Yes. It depends. I had this summer, I had my most difficult user interviews. And that was with, let's say, in the construction industry, with people, with interviewees. They had No, they're barely on LinkedIn. They are not used to get interviewed. They are not used to collaborate. So it was really difficult to get these people. In the end, we reached out to, let's say, our network and the friends network to get these interviews. So it also took like around 2 weeks.
Okay, yeah, to find the right people, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, understand. Hey, that's time's up.
Yeah, so I hope everyone is ready. I see a lot of things. Wow.
I see lots of things moving, but I do still see some. Some people are finished.
Do you want to have another minute or no? Well, yes, another minute. Okay, I give you another minute. Okay, I give you another minute, and maybe then one person can already start showing. Maybe Wouter appeared, not yet.
The surprise.
I see Daniel here. It just arrived. And Andrea, I also see. I don't see everyone because I just have the speaker view, so that's why. I see Oprah.
I know. Oprah. I noticed Oprah as well. We will start with Oprah in a second.
Okay, 14 seconds. Okay. 1 second. Yeah. Okay, so you can continue and just finish your lightning demo. And Margriet, is that from you, Oprah? Do you want to start with that? Robert? Okay, so please start with Oprah.
Oh, is it yours, Robert? Oh, I didn't realize. I just love Oprah, so I didn't realize you put it in. I was like, oh, who put it in? But okay, Robert, you take it away.
Yes, thanks, Margriet. So Oprah is, to me, inspirational here. And the reason why is that Oprah is so super famous in making people bond, and she's always she's super known from that I Give Away Everything shows, but she's just great in connecting people. And although everything is on television and everything is online, the whole world seems to love Oprah for some reason. So therefore, she's doing something great with being super empathetic and giving away stuff for free, sometimes very small, sometimes cars. I have no clue why she did that. But yeah, to me, that's why she's kind of inspirational here.
Thank you. So who would like to be next?
Ooh, can I actually nominate someone?
Yeah, please.
Because I see James Dudley. And sorry if you didn't want to speak, James, but I see you have a goodie box delivered for a Zoom party. And I make a lot of these packages now with Zoom and for our sprints. And if someone could do this for me, it would be wonderful. So yes, I love this inspiration.
To me in a couple of minutes. I've got another picture to upload.
I'm
so slow. So come back in 2 minutes.
We come back to James. Perfect. Then who's the next volunteer to share with us? Who would like to go?
I would like to go. That's okay. I've got one.
Perfect.
Is it okay?
Can you ask us? Yeah, we will follow you.
And it's called The Cradle. And I love it because it's from the city where I'm from, Haarlem in the Netherlands. And these guys, they made a device apparently from wood, but on the inside there is electronics. And if two people both touch the cradle and touch each other, they can play like a music instrument onto each other.
Ooh.
And you can connect this device into a circle of over 300 people. And if person 150 and 151 start touching each other, the device on the other end of the room still makes the connection and noises. And you can put instruments in it, or church bells, or city bike bells, or all these sounds people might remember from when they were still able to remember things.
Wow, I get goosebumps.
Yeah, I have. And when I saw it, it almost made me cry because of enthusiasm and it worked, and it was so crazy. And I was thinking, maybe we can, if we want to connect people, how can we do it over distance? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Super cool. Is anybody else also inspired by, let's say, or how might we, something related to connecting over distance?
Hi, I've got some examples.
Oh, Maria.
Hold on, let me get you to follow me very quickly. I think someone's also done something quite similar. I think I've just gone the typical like software solution app. I've always wanted to play like quizzes with my family. Like my sisters are having trouble sometimes speaking with my mum because she talks a lot. And so I really want to do a quiz with them at Christmas. And I just Googled online quiz. I haven't ever tried it, but I would love the idea of doing some kind of game or online game where there's no pressure to have conversations and answer questions, So I think I quite like that idea of like an online quiz. I haven't even looked at what they do properly, but I think it's just the idea of kind of an active experience and an active exchange with loved ones who you do love, but sometimes can be a bit too much, and just underneath, it's like watching Netflix with your friends. My friend founded this. It's called Cena, and the idea is it syncs with Netflix, and you can just kind of hang out and watch it while your friends are also watching it, and so you're kind of talking over each other. It's not my cup of tea, to be honest, because I want to just watch The Crown and not have anyone talk at me. But I like the idea of, again, it's a bit like these workshops. You have friendly faces, they're hanging out with you while you're all kind of doing the same thing. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know about them, but I do. I like also I think similar. It's not for me necessarily, but I love how they're coming up with, these connecting in different ways. So thanks for that, Maria. And I also,
in addition to Maria,
Shruti?
Yeah, so there's another platform as well. I just couldn't take a screenshot within 5 minutes to put it up. It's called Netflix Party, wherein a few friends can watch it together and keep messaging instead of a voice call. So, yeah.
Perfect.
Sounds great as well.
And indeed, because I'm also curious, because I see I think most of the examples we had now are about connecting, but making complex things simple. I do see some different things there. My eyes were drawn to the subway map. I think that's, to me, one of the best examples of making complex things simple. But I don't know if somebody would like to share anything from a complex thing simple.
Andrea.
Hi.
Andrea.
It's my favorite. Yeah. Hi. It's my favorite example, and I show it at so many kind of workshops to say to people about, if you're trying to draw a map, it doesn't necessarily need to be a truly representational map. And in this example, as you can see, it's made simple. You can't use this as a map to get around town with, but you can really use it to get around the underground. That might be frustrating if you're a visitor, because you want to know where the tourist sites are, but it will get you to them when you're on your way. So I really like this as a good example of lateral thinking and stepping back from the immediate problem.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Andrea. Although I do have one addition to this. So I was in New York earlier this year, just before, all travel stopped. And there is obviously, and I think London was the first, but it's been adapted globally, with the subway maps. But in New York, if you're ever there, there's a few metro stops that have the exact same name, but they're on a different line, like a different color. So if you're not very familiar, you can end up in a totally different place. But then I just found it mind-blowing that you can have like two stops with the same name, and then just, I don't know, that was it was less friendly, but nothing to do with London. London is great. That was but hey, James, are you ready for us?
Thanks, Andrea.
Thanks, Andrea, indeed.
James.
Hi, yeah, fantastic. How are you? How's everyone? Hi, Sabina.
Hi, James.
Yeah, so something really good happened to me this week, and that was that a couple of guys I work for actually came around with a goodie bag, with a goodie box, in fact. So if we go into where I am, the goodie box was hand delivered, and it contained all kinds of great stuff, really, that you could actually eat and drink during the party. And then in the evening, we had our Zoom party, our office Zoom party, which involved, amongst other things, drinking games. So we actually drank the goodies which had been. So I thought that was very connected. I thought that was really noteworthy and yeah, really nice.
It looks like a good goodie box too. Like I want
It's
it. I'm like zooming in.
yeah, it's I
Yeah.
think they it's good. It was a good goodie box. So yeah, I've got some great people I work for. That's
But
good.
then I do have to ask James, because I see only one bottle in the box, but I see 3 bottles on the picture. So did you get 3? Did you get 3 goodie boxes, or did you just like?
No. Well, where I work, we have got a drinks fridge, and I actually I supplemented the alcohol there with the beers. In
Smart.
fact, actually, yeah, I actually misunderstood the drinking game as well. I found that you can see there's a little clear bottle there which had some kind of schnapps in it, and my colleagues were playing this drinking game called Bullshit Bingo. There was a list of words, and every time there was a word that came up, you had to take a sip. And I didn't understand it because I thought as soon as a word came up, you had to drink the entire bottle. And so, typical English guy, I was, why you still put something in the bottle? And everyone else had. So, yeah.
Good, nice. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you very much.
Love that. Love that.
Hey, and there's many more, but maybe shall we share one final one, Sabrina? And maybe if there's any questions, then I can imagine people will also want to relax this evening. So who would like to share a final demo? And it's
Where are the volunteers?
It's the whoever is unmuted first.
I wouldn't mind, but I want to give someone else a chance.
So we will wait. Hang on, let me see. I will come back to you, Shruti, but I will also randomly pick someone on a screen.
Bas, come on, Bas, you can do it. Yes. I see you laughing, Bas.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I had some problems with unmuting my microphone. Yeah, I can tell something about my lightning demo. There's no problem. My input was the app Tiki, and I think it's a well-known app for a lot of people. If not, it's an app what really makes asking money back from friends or relatives easy. And what I love about it, because it's I don't think what I love about it is maybe you know this really awful feeling of asking money back, and the app Tiki makes that really simple, and that's why I love it, because of how might we of making complex things simple.
I don't know this app, but that sounds appealing.
It is. It's quite super. And just if I can add exactly what Bas was saying as well, what is, let's say, so they make it super simple so you can share, like literally you have to add only the money you want back, and the app will then share it. It'll ask you to share via, let's say, WhatsApp or whatever channel that you want. Your friends will get a message that you can directly, transfer the money. But a little thing that I enjoy about them is at the end, when you've done it, there's a little GIF that says thank you. And the GIF, you can also personalize it. So Bas or we could make a GIF of ourselves saying like, thank you, or I don't know, whatever. So it's these little details. It's the simplest app, but it's wonderful.
And I heard that they also used this in time of COVID when the bars were opened last time. So the people from the bars don't have to have contact with the clients anymore. So that was a really nice feature as well.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
Okay, so maybe just one time, once again, you will have access to the board. We will collect more. So you see what we already filled. We have still some lightning demos to collect, but you can still contribute. And you can also ask your friends, and we already asked some more people. They also will contribute in the future. And so the board will be filled up so that we have 221 lightning demos. And then we all can benefit from them and use all these lightning demos for our future design sprints and inspirations. So therefore, the board will be accessible in the future. And if you can also make screenshots, you can download, I don't know if that works, but however you want to use it. So whatever happens, you always can access us, you can reach out to us, and we will share that with you again. So,
I was going to say, Sabrina, or just to add, I think to give it a deadline, let's say up until Christmas or so. Like, let's say,
I have a better idea.
Oh, even better. Perfect. Take it away, Sabrina.
No, because the 22nd, the 22nd of December, there will be a celebration party for 10 years of Design Sprint. And Jake and John will be with us. So it will be the Tuesday before Christmas. So please fill up everything until that date and join us to the party. What will happen? I think there will be some surprises, and you have to bring champagne.
And we get James's box delivered.
Yeah, where's James's box?
Yeah, James and whoever sent James the address will get a package.
Yeah. Perfect. No, and it's quite cool that the creators of Sprint will that you managed to get them, Sabrina. So good work on that, and let's surprise them with this cool board. Or actually, it's the board. I think is mostly for us. It's good to use, but we will. So that's the deadline, 22nd of December. And if you were to zoom out fully. So now you see some white space on top. That was just in case more, let's say, demos have been prepared, but we'll fill all of that with templates. So you see, and all the way at the end there, you see 221. So that's what we need to fill, just so you know. But
okay. So I see that there are some more. Who wanted to say something? Okay, there are some questions. Some more questions, so maybe we just can answer these questions, and then we are at 9:30 and we wrap it up. So
7:30, please.
Thank you.
What did I say?
9. I want to go. Not. I mean, I don't want to go now, but not for 2 more hours.
7:30. So, what is the most memorable sprint session you have had? And I would, so now another fun fact. Robert likes to deal with difficult teams. So I will hand over the question to him and just tell us something about a memorable sprint with session with difficult people.
This is a really difficult question, Sabrina, as you can imagine. If Margriet can mute, yes. No, the design sprints I love most is with difficult teams. So the ones that are fighting with each other a little bit, I really enjoy that. And not because I'm part of the fight, but because I think the design sprint process can really help the team to get results and things done that they've never they never thought it was possible. And you asked me what is the most memorable yeah, I think the most memorable sprint was with one of the key persons in the sprint was quite a difficult personality, and I found it quite hard to making this person part of the sprint team. And the sprint team was so full of their idea, but all of the reactions that we had from I think it was 9 interviews or something, was that the idea was not great at all. It was one of the most memorable sprints because the team really there happened so much on that last day of the sprint. That last 2 hours was so bumpy, heavy, almost emotional. That one I will never ever forget. And I already had difficulties making this person part of the team, but also it became quite emotional at the end. So and the great thing about it is that they canceled all of the things they ordered to run this project. So actually they decided not to pursue after the design sprint, but that was to me one of the most hardcore sprints. And my weekend was a little bit bumpy as well, but we managed.
Great. How do you manage the energy? So maybe this is a question to Margriet, because you're also creating Zoom fatigue and you know this kind of, I don't know the name, this online session. So I think you can answer that question very well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and I see it also. I'll assume maybe the question next to it is also with online sprints for 4 days. So maybe a combined answer. So actually for us, like up before COVID, I think most of the time, so energy, I think we also need to manage it offline just as we do online, but I think online, maybe that's especially relevant now. But we actually choose to do 5-day sprints. And we do that also actually mostly in the offline setting, but especially now online, which is kind of counterintuitive in a way that people say, oh, 5 days, it's way too long, it's way too much. But what we also see is because online, it's quite demanding, that if you do the 4-day sprint, there's literally no recovery time because the pace is even quicker. So there's very little time to, I mean, I call it recover, just to think and be, you know, kind of reflect on the steps. So we choose for 5 days. And I think the key thing, what we see, or what I often, if we sprint with teams that haven't done a design sprint before and hasn't done it online, they're always a little bit afraid of, you know, being online for a full week. They've now experienced all these back-to-back meetings and they find it so tiring. But usually I think the key to the design sprint, and if it's facilitated well, it's the fact that we're online, but we're with the whiteboard, that people, they're engaged in a different way than they're used to. It's not just sitting, listening and zoning out. So I think the keeping up energy is actually just very clear instructions, being very focused in a way. And we do have, or what we try to do is, of course, like before, I would never use too many energizers or these types of things because the sprint would kind of flow. But we've actually been working with a neuroscientist recently to also just understand better, you know, how our brain works. And because, of course, I do understand it does take energy. Literally, it just takes more energy for us to process information online than it does offline. So how do we counter that? So even a very simple one that you can do, I'll just explain it. I don't think we'll have too much time to do the full energizer, but I will explain it to you guys. It's the simplest one. It's called Touch Blue. So if you feel that in a session that energy is low, it goes, I mean, Touch Blue is the name, and then it is find something blue near you and hold it up to the camera. I literally, well, I would now do, here we go. That would be my, sorry, my background is on. So that would be, let's say the rule. And then whoever is last will need to pick the next color or next object. So then let's say I'm not seeing everybody, but then you go in a few times. So it's the rules are very, very simple. And it becomes, what happens, it's a little bit of a competition. And usually you'll have to get up. So if everything is too simple, everything is nearby, you know, throw in a toothbrush or throw in a pillow. So people will literally have to get up and go somewhere. And what it does is it literally raises energy because oxygen is going into your blood and into your brain. So you're literally just more energized. But what it also does is, because it is a competition, and if you do usually around 5 rounds, people will really start to like get into it. And competition, it raises your testosterone also. So and your testosterone is very good for focus. And this testosterone, it stays for about 10-15 minutes in your blood. So this energizer is very good to do if there's like a lunch dip, or before you have to do like a final voting for how might we's at the end of Monday. So simple things like this, just introduce like a short energizer can help with energy. And then a final thing, long lunch breaks. So at minimum an hour, ideally a little bit longer, and make sure really, and we instruct people, no email, no phone, no nothing, go outside. And I make them take pictures of, I don't know, somewhere outside to really show proof that they've been away from the computer. So I think that little things like this is, I don't know, that people, it surprises people as well. I think going through the process as a team, that in general, actually, they surprise themselves that how well they've managed their own energy. So it's tiring, but it's also energizing, I think, the process. It's a long answer. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. So okay, now we have maybe to explain shortly, and I would like to ask you if you like to stay some more minutes until we answer all the questions. You're very welcome. If you have to go, I would appreciate if you just give us a feedback on the board, in the chat. That would be nice. And now I also want to answer, how do we use this museum? Do you paste all in your design sprint board, or do you pick some to bring to the session? So maybe you can answer and just add the ones that are relevant according to you, that enables our brains to create new connections easier.
That came from me, Sabrina. So I saw the question basically, and I immediately responded.
I just read. Yeah, but so just add the ones. But let's say here on the board, I think to use that, I'm not sure, you cannot unlock it, but you can you can click on the URLs, so you can just reconstruct it wherever you need that. And usually when, I don't know how you do it, but I usually bring like around 3 and maybe a bit more lightning demos, so that it also doesn't take too long. But maybe in the future I will bring a bit more. So, but usually I bring also around 3 to 4 maximum, and I put it on the board like the others. But yeah, maybe for the future we will have a nice museum.
Unlimited.
Yeah, you have to pay attention that it's not overwhelming, but yeah, I think it's nice to just have a bit of inspiration. And what's the best and easiest way to sell sprint? Okay, so let's answer that. Let's get an answer by Margriet and Robert, who are not selling, but they are dating their clients. So please.
Yeah, I will answer it. Now, to be honest, it's super difficult answer, because the thing we always hear is, how can I take away 5 days of my people in the agenda? And we are super lucky that people come to us nowadays and say, I want a design sprint, I have the team ready, this is the challenge, let's go. And so we are super happy that that happens. But it takes, and still, if we have people that come to us like, tell me about the sprint, and normally it takes up to like in between, like say 6 months to 15 months before an actual design sprint comes out of it. So so if people really don't know it yet and they feel like it's something from them, it still takes months and months before we actually run. But nowadays, we are super happy and lucky that people call us and say, I want one. So they know what it is, they know the drill, they know who to ask, etc. So so selling for us became a lot easier over the past years. I think because we already run sprints for I think almost 4 or 5 years, and we run quite a lot. So and we're quite visible on LinkedIn as well. So yeah, doing great at your first sprint makes you have a second and a third one.
Mm-hmm. Maybe whoever, yeah, Margriet?
Oh, no, I'm just going to add one thing. Is maybe it depends a little bit on what, like, let's say who's your target company. Are you targeting startups or scale-ups or corporates? So we mostly work with large companies. And I think the biggest thing, at least, so if you're in this conversation with someone, it does help if people understand design thinking and the design sprint, because otherwise I think the time frame Robert gave is also about just, I don't know, taking people along and they have to find people, but let's assume they know what it is and they're open to it, but then also for them to sell it internally. I think the biggest thing that I noticed that helps is that we say, that those meetings, those weekly meetings that you have probably spread out over 6 months or 9 months, where you have like, an hour a week. And then at the end of the year, you kind of somewhat have a project semi-ready or not. We do all that. So we do like 5 months or 9 months of meetings in a week. And I think then just explaining that, instead of having all these loose hours where very little gets done, that we just condense that into a pressure cooker. That's usually kind of the storytelling, or it depends on what's the biggest challenges, I suppose, at the company that you're talking to. So just understanding, is it time? Is it money? Is it, that there are too many opinions? So kind of trying to understand what's the biggest challenge, and then bring in the strength of the sprint in order to, how do I say, sell it.
Mm. And maybe something to the dating. How do you date your clients?
What's with the and it was I forgot what I said in the, I don't know what you mean.
I think you mentioned, I don't know exactly how you said it or in the podcast, but what we, at least I think we say, how do I say, like, we're very much into the relationship building with our clients. Yes. Or that so we do approach, like, let's say all our clients, we send all our clients also in that sense, cards, also when we after we've had like a conversation, like not an email, we sent them not even thank you cards or little quirky things that we're very much in touch. So also if we see, I don't know, funny things, we send people a lot of pictures or on WhatsApp, or so it's usually a long relationship. Sometimes it takes a while before we sell something, but it's like literally building up. So we have a very, I don't know, let's say human connection. And I think in the end, that's for the long run. We don't have, to be honest, very many clients even. We just have very many that come back. So in that sense, we're quite monogamous in dating.
Yeah, but good relationship. I think that's clients have to trust you. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, the thing that I wanted to add something before is that it's never our aim to sell a design sprint. It's our aim to help the client and to help a team. So that there's a difference between also the question, how do you sell a sprint? Okay, I still see when I run a sprint, I think, hey, I sold a sprint, but it should be really about the value that you can create for the team. And that's also for us, having the relationship with our clients in quite a low-key way helps also to find out, can we be relevant and can we help the team? Are you wasting your time, etc. So and with wasting time, I mean, can it be beneficial to run a sprint with what you're currently facing or doing? So we're trying to be there when needed, but also it's never an aim to sell a design sprint. Design sprint is just a tool to make a team work, and not a product to sell, in my opinion. But
yeah, I like that answer. It's not about to sell. It's maybe also about how you understand selling. We had the 2 workshops with Errol Gearson the last 2 days, and he told us, like, what are you really doing? So he asked us, he provoked us a bit with the word salesman. What do you think? What comes to your mind when you see the word salesman? So what do you think when you see selling design sprints, selling something? It's weird. It makes you feel uncomfortable. And so it's, cheesy and salesy. But in the end, we are all salesmen because we all sell ourselves. It's nothing dirty. No, it's just how we are. Communicating is selling. And so it's just the way you frame it. And therefore, it's all, so the selling, it's all about having conversations, helping people and helping the clients, helping others. So that's what is behind that. So when I understood the concept, it worked much better, to be honest. But if that person who asked the question has maybe would like to add something to that, or does that help to answer the question? So if you just give us a yes, it answered the question.
Yeah, it totally did. Yeah, it answered the question. Thank you.
Great. Okay, so if there are, I don't see any more questions, and I see that people already leaving. They have to put kids to bed, and yeah, we all have kids. Not all of us, but I also have kids, so not yet. So yeah, I would like to thank you to all of us, all of you, and all of us. Yes. Here, because we really created something very valuable, and we will continue creating this big board, and it will help us in 2021. And yeah, thanks, Margriet. Thanks, Robert. I'm really grateful. And you see everything. If you want to get in contact with them, there's everything on the board. You will have access to the board. Just look out here. And yeah, I would like to say goodbye and see you next time. Yes, see you. Don't forget the 22nd of December.
Party time. No, thank you, Sabrina, also for this evening. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. And let's make the most awesome board ever. Thanks.
Thank you, everybody.
Let's do that. Let's do that.